Hey guys, I'm Jade honing for Photo Factor. Welcome to episode 2 in a 5-part series in chapter 3 of Working with Layers. In this episode, we're going to explore some of the essential layer basics. So let's dive straight in. So here we're going to explore the functions used most often in the layers panel. And first up, we're going to just talk about layer order and the way they are stacked from top to bottom, which controls the front to back content in the image. For example, the orange flowers layer is sitting right at the top. The pink flowers, albeit that it's on the same plane as the orange flowers, is actually sitting just behind, and the green flower layer is sitting right at the back on top of the background layer. So if I wanted to bring the green flower layer to the top, all I need to do is click on it, hold down the mouse button and drag it to the top. You'll notice those two little lines. Once I see those, I know I'm ready to let go. And you'll see it's now moved it to the top of the pile. If I want to just take it back, same story, click, hold, and drag down, wait until I see those two little lines, and release. And this is how I basically change the layer order. I can do that with any of the layers, and we can play around until we get a layer order that works for us. So now let's say we want to create a new layer. How do we do that? So all you need to do then is decide where you would want to place the layer within the layer order. And for this illustration, to illustrate this, I would like to place a new layer on top of the orange flowers layer. So I just need to make sure that is selected, which it already is here. And I simply need to go down to the bottom, and this little icon here, which shows a little plus sign. If I hover over it long enough, it tells me they create a new layer. By the way, if you're working on an older version of Photoshop, this icon will look like a page with a little upturned corner. So in Photoshop CC 2020, this icon has changed. And so we just click on that, and a new layer appears above the orange layer as per what we wanted. You'll notice that it's defaulted to a simple name, layer 1. Now what we want to do is paint some color above this flower image, and so we can give this layer a new name simply by double clicking on the title here, like that, and you'll see the text becomes highlighted. And let's call it paint. And when we're happy, just hit enter. And so now let's go over to the brush tool, which you'll find here in the toolbar to the left. We'll click on that, and we scroll on over to the options bar for that tool. If we click over here, we can change the size of the brush, and we can also change the hardness. So let's see what we need. That's a little bit too big. We can change that to a bit smaller, and maybe a little bit more smaller. There we go. That will do for what we're trying to illustrate. And once we're happy, we can just click off here. Now let's choose a color that we want to work with. We can head over here to the swatches panel. Let's choose a nice bright yellow. Once we're happy with that, we move on back over to this layer, and there's various modes you can work with in using the brush. Let's just go over to normal, and I want to just click over there, and we now have a solid layer of yellow sitting above the orange flowers. Notice because it's its own layer, it hasn't affected that layer at all. We can switch this layer off. Let's just go back a step. I just would like to illustrate something here for you. So remember I said we could change the hardness of the brush if we take it all the way to 100%, and we do the same thing. Notice the edges now becomes a lot harder. Let's go back a step again. If we make it nice and soft, to take the hardness all the way down to 0, and we do the same thing again, you'll see now the edges are a lot softer. I want something midway. And so let's take this up to around 50%. Click here again. And now what I can do with the layer is you'll see to the top right of the panel, there is this prompt here called opacity. And there's a number of ways I can change this actually. I could just click on the right here and this little slider appears and I can just move that to where I feel it suits me best. I'm going to say there. And once I'm happy with that, I just go to an area off the slider and click, and the slider will disappear. So now I have a layer that I've painted, which I can just turn on and off. And this is the most simple way of blending layers. There are perhaps more, well, definitely more effective ways, but to just illustrate the use of layers, I think this serves the purpose. Okay, so now we have created this yellowish layer sitting above the flower. We've decided, okay, we don't really love that. We want to remove this layer. Now, again, there's a number of ways you can do that. First of all, make sure you're on that layer that you would like to remove. You can either just hit delete on a Mac keyboard or backspace on a Windows keyboard, and bam, your layer is removed. Let's go back a step. The other way you can do it is you can just click and hold on that layer and drag it down to the little trash bin icon. And again, it's removed. And then just lastly, you'll see this little menu prompt here to the right. If you click on that, you'll notice there's all kinds of additional things that one can do with your layers. For example, duplicate a layer. Let's just illustrate that. We were on the orange flowers. It's now asking me what I would like to name that layer. Orange flowers copy is okay. We can do that. And we hit OK. And you'll see now I have two layers which are identical, and that is because we have duplicated the layer. Let's just trash that because we ain't going to need that for now. And so we've learned a whole bunch of layer basics. We've learned how to change the layer order. We've learned how to create a new layer. We've learned how to delete a layer, and we've also learned how to change the opacity thereof. If you're finding this content useful to you and you'd like to learn a whole lot more, please do hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. Stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to show you how to resize a layer. See you there.